Greetings, everyone. Welcome to THL's Hearthcenter. I'm one of your hosts for tonight, Lotus Knight, and I am joined by the best crew, in my opinion, THL has to offer. First of all, with his featured chicken kitchen background, we have Super Chicken. Chicken, how are you today?
Yeah, it's me, Super Kitchen. I've had the kitchen for a while now. I think we can confidently say it's the best team we have to offer with Neji gone.
That is true. And to my other side, we have our special guest straight from the UK here, Rebobson. Rebob, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I've gotten for a more conventional laundry background, which is not quite as nice. And I've been inspired by Ron. So I've gone full Tash. Didn't know we were having cams tonight. I did this because I got really bored.
Nice. And with his only fan in the room, we have the one and only Ron Mexico. Ron, how are you?
Doing great as always, Lotus. Excited to dive into week one of season 23 at THL. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. A lot of F2L to talk about with Rebob here too. So we'll have a good show in store.
For sure. And last but not least, we have content extraordinaire, and for some reason not playing this season, the one and only Dankazad. Dankazad, how are you?
Doing great. Glad to be here for an edition of Shaven versus Stashes over there, and we're gonna show you guys what Super Chicken's cooking.
All right, we have quite the show for tonight, so I'm going to get us started so we don't finish at, I don't know, 8 a.m. Rebob time. I'm sure he would appreciate it. So we're going to kick off with Player of the Week, and we're going to start with our Wild Player of the Week because we're going to announce the Wild Player. No, we're not featuring Wild in this show. That's not happening, but we can tell you who won Player of the Week. Um, Rebob, do you want to do the honors?
Hey, look, it's someone else who's on this show right now. It's Danke's dad, Wild Player of the Week. Look at him go with and I don't really want to spoil anything. We were discussing Danke's dad's lineup just before the show. I don't want to give anything away, but just go and look at it. And he did it by reverse sweeping an aggro priest with these decks. Like 3 reasons why you should hire Dankus down your team. First, he'll prepare. Second, he'll win. And third, he'll not only reverse sweep his opponent to win, but he will do it in style. Don't want to talk about Wild too much, so I'm sure we can move on.
For sure. So
Rank up to rank up, guys. Let's go.
moving from Wild here, I want to congratulate Dankus' dad, and I want to ask, let's say Ron this time. Ron, do you want to tell us our legacy player of the week?
Absolutely. So in Legacy, our player of the week.
Looking
Why
forward to
can't
how
I
you're going to pronounce
find
this.
it? Our Well, first I have to actually find it scrolling. Okay. Player of the week goes to uh
Ah!
Triple A, maybe. Not sure exactly what pronunciation we're going for. But in his first ever THL match, faced against former Legacy champion and Powerhouse 1 seed in the 2 seed, Classy Thug of Defias. Started his THL career off right with a 3-0 sweep to secure his team the week win. Congratulations on the first of hopefully many wins in your THL career.
Congratulations, for his player of the week award. And keeping going with player of the week, I'm gonna ask Chicken here. Who's our pro player of the week?
Our pro player of the week is Swelly. During a long time away from THL, Swelly got swole and returned this week with a vengeance. Using a slightly off-meta lineup of Spell Demon Hunter, Pure Paladin, and Imp Warlock, they took down Nice Jewish Owl 3-1 to help give ET Yogg Saron a close 15-12 win. Welcome back and congrats on a great start to the season.
Welcome back indeed. That's quite a victory. And last but definitely not least, thank his dad. Give us our Pro EU Player of the Week.
So for Pro EU, we have Connor. And for EU Pro, is there a better way to start the season than beating the defending champs? I think not. ET and Azoth kicked off their season just so. Connor contributed a 3-0 in the opening 5 seed for the team to really get things started. Undefeated start for both the team and Connor in games. Congrats and good luck this season. Now that's an ET performance right there. Very strong.
For sure. Congratulations to every single one of our players of the week here. Ron, do you want to remind people what they need to do to get Player of the Week?
Oh, it's very simple. You know, if you're not on Player of the Week already, you got plenty of time. The first requirement is to not be Rebob, and the second requirement is just win. So you know, there's always next week.
And
Unless
I know
you're Rebob.
I got some nominations this week. One day I'm gonna get it, and then we'll be laughing.
Surely,
Surely.
cope it up.
Bombed is literally on one of my teams now. I will perma sub him out if he does not give it to me.
It's fantastic.
We do have a surprise last minute Player of the Week. Ron, do you want to read that one for everyone? It's still in the Player of the Week channel.
Yes, absolutely. So, surprise last minute Player of the Week goes in the Hero series to Bone Masher. In the organizational rivalry of APM versus F2L continues again last week with another pleasant meeting and F2L Black facing off on the Hero series. The match was very close, and Bone Masher's reverse sweep of Dr. BOMD on Priest proved vital to get APM the week win. Congrats to the APM captain handling business under pressure.
Good choice. Good choice.
Yes.
So, speaking of things everyone understands, let's look at the decks of the week. And we're going to start by looking at Chicken's favorite class, Paladin. So, Ron, take it away.
All right. Now, you may be asking, why isn't Super Chicken reading the Paladin write-up? Well, that's a great question. Anyway, to the Paladin review. Lasagna's buff Paladin is what we are highlighting today with a curve that tops out at 4 mana. This deck is looking to beat you up. So like our resident co-host Super Chicken, Lasagna enjoys playing the yellow minions on curve, and he did so to great effect this week. While Liadrin and Kotori Lightblade can be powerhouses for this archetype, Lasagna instead opts for neutral disruption and card draw, with Crooked Cook and Forensic Duster standing out in this list. Sunwing Squawker, repeating Seal of Blood is a huge swing. Just because it's a parrot, we'll say that again. Sunwing Squawker, repeating Seal of Blood is a huge swing. But really, this deck is just very much focused on play minions early, often, buff them, beat them up, end the game quick. What's not to like?
For sure. Thank you, Dad. Anything you want to share about this one? Thank you, Dad. I don't think
He has nothing to say about Paladin.
Yes, I've been silenced by myself, but I think it's interesting that like we don't see the new Liadrin, no Kotori Lightblade. That like it's mostly just these common minions with the Divine Shield and card advantage that are actually going to make this Paladin potent. And like I don't think it's a poor card choice, but the Asharan Mooncatcher with no dredge in the deck, just because it's a 4/2 Divine Shield and can be a proactive play, is pretty neat in my book. And yeah, I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this deck a lot. I know that Diamond had actually sent me a version of this to try on ladder, and it seemed pretty powerful. So it was cool to see it have some success in THL.
Budget Paladin.
Yeah.
Listen, you can put a deck with 28 random cards or even 38 random cards, but if 2 of the last ones are Forensic Duster, you will immediately bait Dankus Dad into enjoying your list and playing it.
True. True. He's not wrong.
He is a tech card enjoyer. He studied under Nice Jewish Owl.
Specifically a bad tech card enjoyer, just like Nice Jewish Owl.
Yeah, no, he's like his apprentice in terrible tech cards.
Well,
Love it.
we will never know from those comments who is whose apprentice, but I'd like to think I know the answer.
There. And let's look at our second deck here. Rebob, why don't you tell us about this one?
So, unlike the World Championships which happened this past weekend, thanks to Diamond, there are more Death Knight decks on this slide than there were in the entire World Championships. There were about, I think I tried keeping count during Worlds as to how many times they made the joke about Maestra making a Death Knight appear be its only appearance, and I think it was about 6 by the end. So Diamond's triple blood Renethal Death Knight. He elected to go not full greed, runs a bit more early game in the Noxious Cadavers, the nice little 1-drop, and the Heart Strikes to better contest early boards and to fuel some big corpse plays later. And because he's running more early bodies, allows for Side and Athreus to make an appearance even after it got nerfed. Toastall who sought to kill him. And this deck, unfortunately, it didn't get to go in a big grindy control game like the rest of the games in Diamond Series versus Justin. This one just beat Miracle Rogue by killing the one big minion, quite disappointingly. But I can tell you that Diamond versus Justin did go. I think it was 90 minutes for 4 games. And the Blood Knight versus Rogue game was about 5 minutes of those. I saw the 2 replays, and I think 2 games went to about 54 turns combined between them.
Wow.
It was insane. But Diamond came out victorious, so massive shout out there. Big win for F2L.
For sure. Thank you, Zad. Anything you want to share here?
Yeah, so Blood Death Knight is probably the archetype that I've played most since this expansion has come out. Surprise, surprise. And I can say that I'm a big fan of the playstyle. I think finding the right list is really hard right now, and it's tough to know how much early game mitigation you want, how much combo disruption versus, long control tools. But yeah, in spite of the whole restriction with runes and corpses, it's more flexible than it looks and definitely a fun deck to try out.
I hugely enjoy Triple Blood because I just like grinding as much as possible. So I was a bit sad that it wasn't quite as good as it first seemed. So I'm hopeful it gets a bit better post all these balance changes. So we'll see.
We will see indeed. Let's take a look at our third deck, because I want to see a deck that definitely loses to Blood Death Knight. Well, I'm not sure there, but Chicken, tell us, what is this magical final deck?
Okay. Of all the combo druid decks, this is one of them. And it's or druid. It is ever so slightly faster than 30 card Astalor druid and way worse into aggro, but it's funnier. Yeah, the deck has ways to tutor out Boar and Unending Swarm, So you have your combo pieces there. And yeah, it goes pretty quickly. It probably loses the mirror if you're, or like loses to like Astalor Druid if they have ramp. But if they don't have ramp, then you're in a great spot because neither of you have ramp. Sometimes you draw your seedsman, but yeah, you're just you run less ramp in favor of just like having cheap cards to dump. With wait, this doesn't even run. Does this not run? What's the card? Due process. How does this keep drawing cards? I guess Acolyte of Pain. What? This deck is so bad. Wait a second. But then you need to use your Wild Pyromancer to proc your Acolyte of Pain, but you also need your Wild Pyromancer to clear your opponent's board. But then you also need your Wild Pyromancer to proc your Unending Swarm.
It's a good
So
thing that this deck runs 4 Wild Pyromancers.
yeah,
I'm
we
really
do
happy
have
about
Moonlit
that.
Guidance, and then Unending Swarm can also resummon the Wild Pyromancer. So
Yes. That's the main
you-
way it works. You use the Pyro to clear and then Unending Swarm to get it back.
I'm just really happy that we're running Wild Pyromancer and Acolyte of Pain together in a deck in almost 2023.
Hey,
it's not like Druid has any better ways of drawing cards.
9 years later, you can't mess with perfection.
yeah, we
Look,
are running Wrath in a deck.
My complaint is that there is no Chillwind Yeti that you can innovate out this deck.
Without the 2-mana Innervate, it's really not as powerful. Bring back 2-mana Innervate.
Yeah, no, you just go innovate, coin, Yeti. You just win the game.
I think that's how it works.
Thank you, Zad. Anything you want to add about this special?
Well, I'm pretty impressed with this because based on how that went, I think I found the only Druid deck that Super Chicken hasn't played. So that's pretty cool. But looking at this, like the tutoring, I think actually makes this really interesting. And I think where you can run into some trouble is just finding the mana to, as Super Chicken said, draw all of your cards and play them. But the high roll for this deck is just phenomenal. And I was talking to Is It actually about this when the expansion came out. This is one of the day one decks that was pretty funny. But turn 5 and turn 6 sword is actually just something that can happen, which is really unfortunate if you're on the other side of it. So, while we've seen Mind Warlock, Quest Demon Hunter, and even Garrote Rogue come back as sort of the combo decks that are hot right now, it's fun to see that there is another class that can do something like that too, even if it isn't quite as meta.
Yeah, this is a deck that I really hope is never good. Like, actually good.
Agreed.
Because it's stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like I'm not personally a huge fan of boar decks because like
I hate board decks.
it's just a very, very linear game plan, and there aren't really like other. There is only one way this deck is winning a game, and it's by hitting your opponent for 15 and taking their mana. It's not like you can. I don't even think this deck could win by like running an aggro druid out of threats because they're just like there's no like backswing except for like summoning a few boar, like a
Yeah.
few 1/1s with a 6-mana spell. Like
Wow.
Yeah, it doesn't even have like the boar priest kind of alternate thing versus aggro. It's just like pyro devour win game.
Sometimes this deck basically wins by turn 9 against a control priest piloted by a Master's Tour winner, though. So there is that.
Yeah, it's true. And planted evidence, that could be a Convoke the Spirits, and Convoke the Spirits could give you a lot of stuff. There are alternate win conditions if you look hard enough.
I think you should just play box druid.
Mm,
Sounds like
Yeah.
box druid would be better there.
true, but this is Box
Just-
Druid sometimes, right? So you get
Yeah,
the
just-
double value. Box
I
Druid
think-
can't be Boar Druid, but Boar Druid can be Box Druid, right? See what I'm saying?
do we have any more things that we realistically want to say about Board Druid before we move on?
No.
No.
Okay.
Well, moving on, we're going to start by talking about Euro Series. Our first match we're going to look into is another pleasant meeting facing F12 Black. And to talk about this one, we have the captain of F12 Black, Rebob. Rebob, take it away.
With our well deserved player of the week, Bone Masher captaining versus me. I'm sure that one was given purely to spite me. Now, when we play APM, it's always very close, and it was to be this time. Just came down to, I mean, realistically, it did come down to Bone Masher's game. But so results wise, Stinsey managed to beat Mr. Python 3-1 in the 1 seed. Mr. Python did try out a Death Knight. It didn't really go hugely well. A couple of my players last week learned that if you bring Death Knight, the screenshot ban screen giving away your runes is a massive. It's quite a big deal before you get into games. Giving away your runes is not something you want to do. While I beat Moon 3-1 on the backswing in the 2 seed, we both brought the 4 good classes. We thought I was going to take it. Like I said, Bone Masher beat Dr. Bomb 3-2 in the 3. It was a reverse sweep. Dr. Bomb blamed me for what I said he should ban entirely, so maybe I got to take some blame for that. Totino's the world's best 4-5 seed, swept Copa in the 4, which was a huge result. And Joltzy beat Jim Philos on his return to Hero at 3-0. Was a 13-11 win to them. Came very close. If Bombed had just got that last game, would have gone very differently. We'll get them next time. It's fine.
Fair. Now, although this was a rough match for F2L, this was so tight. Ron, anything you think about this match?
It's a good opener to the season, I think, for both teams. It was a pretty close one, and it came down to, something that could really go either way. Will be interesting to see if we get more Death Knights brought in the future, but there were a whole lot of Demon Hunter, Druid, Priest, Rogue, which was pretty much what we were seeing in like the meta and with World Championships too. I think both of these teams are solid playoff contenders. Good win for APM, but F2L's got a good shot at working their way into a playoff conversation. Solid team. I wouldn't have like too much to worry about on either side.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
just like what Rebob mentioned, the giving away your runes in the the ban screenshot. I had not thought about that. I hadn't really considered bringing Death Knight last week, so I hadn't
Yeah.
really considered that.
Yeah.
Well, wow, what a disadvantage that is. That is kind
Yeah.
of crazy. That like maybe like Death Knight sucks in THL close list unless they change how bans are done. But yeah,
Yeah, it's brought a consideration that nobody had thought of, and nobody thought of it until I think Mayan in Legacy was the very first match of the season. He had it. Then Mr. Python played the next day. Both of them were like, "Oh, this gives away my runes. This is really bad."
yeah,
Unfortunate.
okay, dude.
Well, you
Do
got to
not
take
submit
advantage.
Death Knight in closed list.
Zig when they expect you to zag, right? Full
Uh,
full aggro frost, full aggro blood, right? Ship it.
Full aggro blood.
Love
All the
that.
hand buffs. Just go
It
in,
works.
right?
It works, surely.
What could
40
possibly go wrong?
40 card triple unholy.
That is a good deck, though, Ron. Don't.
I actually ran into that today on ladder, and needless to say, my opponent conceded after seeing me play a single naval mine.
I thought you were going to say they conceded after seeing you play a single card.
Yeah, it was like a 40 card aggro Death Knight. I was co-oping with Just in Time, and our suspicion was that it was a Prester Unholy Death Knight,
Hmm.
but we never saw the Prester, unfortunately.
What's the problem with playing one good card and 40 cards?
Well, I'll move us to our next match so we keep on schedule. So, Ron, tell us about our second match of the night for Hero Series.
Absolutely. Our second match was between Department of League Administration and The Cult. And this one was also a really close match. I happen to know the order of play, or at least the order of the last two games. I can't remember out of Lotus, Donde, and Saku who played first. I know Donde played third, though. So it started off looking very rough for Dola here, with Lotus Knight losing 0-3 to Skittles. We had Saku losing in a 0-3 to Quaz. So in an 8-0 hole to start the week was a little concerning. But then team started to swing it back. Donde got a 3-1 over Swelly, and myself and Mako played at the exact same time. I had a match against Kronos HS, and Mako was playing against It's Me, Mike V. And we had to get a grand total of a 6-2 win in order to actually win the week. So I, of course, accounted for those two losses to make sure that it got close. And then Mako did what he's been doing great in Hero since last season and got the sweep, booked the victory for the team just ever so barely. And Dola walks away with a 12-11 in a nail biter.
It was good of you to give those two games away just to, make it interesting.
Listen, I didn't ban the Demon Hunter, all right? That deck is insane.
Ron,
I thought I could beat it, then I was like, maybe I can't.
got a question for you,
Mistakes were
Ron.
made.
There's a lot more green in the classes section of Dola than we've seen in most of them.
Yes.
Do you know who could have convinced Mako and Saku to bring Hunter this week?
I told them not to. They copied me. I was like, don't do that, guys. I'm the Hunter guy. You don't have to do it. But yeah, they wanted to bring Hunter. Fortunately for Mako, he didn't have to play Hunter. So that was good. Saku did have to play Hunter, and well, didn't go so great.
Yeah. So you're to blame for Mako bringing Hunter in Legacy.
Yes, I mean, to be fair, I didn't say bring Hunter, but he's like, I think I'll submit these classes, and I was like, wait, why is Hunter in there? That's only supposed to be in mine.
Yeah, he did that while I was asleep. So I woke up to there being a mystery Hunter, and I was like, oh no.
Oh, hey, you're welcome.
Cheers, man. Cheers, man. I'm blaming you for the result we're going to talk about later.
Love it. So happy to contribute.
Contribute to my downfall.
So, we've talked a lot about this match, but I want to ask Ankus that if he has anything he wants to share.
So, looking at this, I think that it's pretty interesting that Hero seems to have a little more diversity going on than at least Open List Conquest does. Like the Hunter pick makes a lot of sense, but we also see some Warlocks on the other side in the Cult, and I think that's pretty interesting, especially since two of those lineups came out ahead. I can only wonder if it was Curse Imps, Phylactery, or something else entirely. But seems
they did both. Two of them did sweep, so they probably didn't have to play the Warlock.
Maybe that's true. Maybe.
I'm trying to remember if Saku got swept by Warlock. No, he didn't. Yeah, and I don't know about the other one. So Warlock may not have even shown up at all, to be fair.
Maybe. But, still, like, maybe it's in the lineup as, like, an answer to Druid if they're expecting ramp. But in open list conquest, we have not seen as much warlock these days, so that stood out to me at least.
All right. So I'll move us to our third match of the night. Sorry, Chicken. Tell us about what was another super tight match.
Yeah, this was Sorry Lads acquires the title versus Always Packin' Mana, another Hero APM team. What was the order? Would be great if I could remember that. I know I played last, that's for sure. I think CMAC played first, lost to Vino 3-0. I think maybe Skirt played after that. And then I believe Nine got his sweep very early in the morning. He played at like 7 a.m. or something. I could never do that. Yeah, I say 7 a.m. is very early. I guess that's just a little bit telling of my day to day. But anyway, then Kitten lost another close 3-2 to Osmonaut. And then I was set to play Genji, but then he had to cancel last minute. So Righteous Jammies was luckily able to sub in. And I had to get a sweep to at least to tie the week for my team, but I was unable to do that. Game 3, I lost Death Rattle Rogue versus her Miracle Rogue. But yeah, big thanks to James for subbing in last minute, and yeah, I do think she played quite well. Especially especially considering like her usual opponent.
Righteous Jammies is a he, by the way.
Oh, really? Who am I
Um,
thinking of?
Maybe
No,
Laughing Frog?
I think Chicken's got the right of it.
Yeah, I thought I did.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. Apologies if I am wrong.
No,
But anyway.
you're both wrong. Righteous Jammies is a he. Oh,
Oh, okay.
I'm wrong. My bad. Sorry, Righteous
Owned?
Jammies.
Owned?
I thought you said
perhaps?
no to confirm what I was saying. Oh,
No.
I'm so sorry.
Chaos.
You can kick me off the show now. For
Shout out to
shame.
Jeremy's for getting.
Ron's days are numbered at this point. Anyway,
outta
but yeah,
here.
it was. I do think it was a pretty well played match. And yeah, she crucially got the one game win that APM needed to win the week. So, great on her.
I've never seen a loss result in a PR game before.
Yeah, I did find that pretty funny. I guess I should have swept, and then I wouldn't have lost PR.
Oh yeah, you lost PR for losing one game, and they gained PR for winning that one game. I mean that's like it would have been, the ultimate big game hunter, like the maximum possible.
Oh my god, you're right. It would have been the highest big game hunter of all time.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's ever done a 500 before. So if only. Still won the week though, so did the job, which is
Indeed.
absolutely massive for a 50 PR versus a 550. Like one game there is like amazing.
Yeah, bonus to make Super Chicken lose some PR, which is fantastic. Love to see that in a 3-1 win. Still losing some PR.
down to like 650 now. He's slacking.
It's almost like an early showing of the PPR. You win and lose points. Classic.
I will note, for in general, it would be a really cool thing in a future show for us to just get Hat or Markshire to join us to really explain PR math. One day we'll organize that. But
I used to know what the formula was because I had to use it to work out some stuff, and it was ridiculous. I don't think anyone really understands it. It's just like this amalgamous blob.
Much like the actual player ratings later when we get to
Nobody understands PPR.
PPR's something else entirely. Who even knows?
So let's take a look at the standings. How do the standings end for Hero after all these matches? Dankestad, tell us what happened in teal and purple.
All right. So taking a look at this with week one, we have the Ice Clown Citadel in purple holding the lead at 19 points. ET Yasharaj at 17. Another Pleasant Meeting at 16. The Late Bloomers at 12. F2L Black at 11. And Abusing PR Management at 7. So, it's been 1 week. Not a whole lot to say here with bearing on the playoff race, but I think Abusing PR Management may have needed to squeeze some more PR in there because right now I think they're the only team that's really at a significant deficit that will need a big week coming up. For Teal Conference, we have F2L Obsidian at 21, Always Pack and Mana at 16, Department of League Administration at 15, Sorry Lads acquires the title at 12, The Cult at 11, Dad Legend at 9. And since F2L is at the top, we don't have to talk about this one. We can just move right on. But yeah, another, solid spread in the first week. I think that, even though the point totals are all higher, there's still that same spread between the top and bottom team, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, it seems like F2L has carved a bit more of a lead out of week one than Ice Clown Citadel did. So yeah, it's good to be at the top, especially if you are an F2L fan for Teal Conference.
For sure.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts about Hero anyone wants to share before we move on to Legacy?
Let's talk Legacy.
Let's
Can't wait.
talk Legacy. So we're going to start looking at Gold Conference. And I want to make sure I get this right. So the person that is going to tell us what happened last week in Gold Conference is Dankestad. Dankestad, take it away.
Right. So match we've got is Activision Printing Money versus the Cooler. The 14-12 win. Cheesy 10 beating Seaveek 1 3-2. Stinzy beating Bremen 3-0. Bone Masher beating Big Money 3-2. Corridon taking the loss to Icer 1-3. And Leo C taking the loss to Spine 1-3. So, looking at this matchup, we still tend to see an awful lot of Priest and Rogue, but Paladin for the Cooler was a really popular choice, along with Demon Hunter, of course. And, unclear if that really panned out. It seems like, most of the players who brought Paladin did not win, but then again, one of them lost to a player with Paladin. So closed list is tough to really say, but lots of tight matches. 14-12 is a close one. And based on these games that are getting featured, I think Bone Masher probably slid THL some money out of under the table to get all of these APM features and Rebob on the show on the same day. There's a conspiracy at work. So looking here, though, at the conference, we have Dad Legend in the lead at 19, ET Cthulhu at 17, Activision Printing Money at 17, the Welts, W2LTS, 13, the Cooler at 12, and A Knack to the Future at 10. Very tight conference, and, even the losing teams put up a lot of points, so I don't think any of these 6 teams can be unhappy after week one. Looks like a solid start.
Sure. Ron, anything you want to share about this match or about Gold Conference?
To start off, I again just have to mention Activision Printing Money is such an incredible acronym for APM. Really nice job. Really close win here, over a team that has a title in their past. The Cooler's always a contender, and we're too early to tell, but Gold Conference, nobody even hit less than 10 points, including my team at the very bottom with exactly 10. Everyone's still a contender, totally, swear. But yeah, looks like a good
Cope.
start of the season. I think it'll be a solid run for gold for sure for all of these teams. It'll be an exciting season.
If you ever manage to get me and Bone Masher on at the same time, it will be one of the greatest feats of scheduling this show has ever seen.
So true.
Given we
Don't
both
tell
live
me.
in the most annoying time zones for you to deal with.
Don't
But
tell it
polar
to me,
opposites.
Rebob. I'll make it happen.
Bone Masher is in Australia.
Oh, I know.
And
He's been in the show before.
it could theoretically happen.
We'll figure it out. But any final thoughts about gold before we move to red conference?
I'm just going to second Activision printing money is my favorite APM. They've done a great job.
For sure.
But
Now, Rebob, stick with me to talk about legacy here. Let's move into red conference.
Right, so we've had a bit of a mare here. F2L White versus Copa Keepers. It was a 16-9 loss, and we only got 2 wins on the board. I got a 3-2 over Venus Bimoni, and Totino's once again getting the win over Clarity. But in the middle 3 seeds, we had a bit of an issue. There were 2 sweeps in the 4 and the 3. Copa swept 2-star Mako. That Hunter there didn't work out too well. And Gimme Lamp, cheers, Ron. Cheers, Ron. And Gimme Lamp was swept by Hickett, unfortunately. And then Andy Rogers got a 3-1 over Myanodon. I think it was just like it was something of a case of bit of unfamiliarity. Gimme Lamp has just come over from Wild. I've done my usual thing of, ooh, Wild player. Hello. Weren't really sure what exactly to bring. I wasn't too sure myself. I just brought the 4 decks I played a lot. But I wasn't really given the best advice. I think that led to the 2 sweeps and the 3 and the 4, which really made it such an unflattering scoreline. The fact that they happened against 2 players with a Shaman is just deeply saddening. We lost to a Death Knight and 2 Shamans. It's bad. But now that we've had some balance changes, people will have some more time to get to grips with what to play, and we'll be alright. It's not a good start for us by any means, but we've got a proud tradition of making playoffs and then immediately losing to uphold. So I'm sure we'll be fine. Though, looking at the conference, we got Clownstoners up at the top. They got max points, full 23. Vanished Venters got 21, and Copa Keepers got 19 for the top 3. So it was big weeks for 3 teams. So this conference, in diametric opposition to the last one, it's very much one of 2 halves, because you then got all the way down a 9-point gap to 4th, Defias at 10, F2L White at 9, and Hero Power Button Presses on 5. Only managed to get 5 game wins in that loss versus Clownstoners. So the conference already is not shaping up great for us. So got a lot of work to turn this run around, but I'm confident we can do it.
For sure. Let's see if you can do it over the next few weeks. Chicken, anything you want to comment about this one?
Just that the Clownstoners have somehow formed yet another super team, and Neji is going to get away frauding it up on a team that carries him to yet another finals. Will he win like Legacy last season, or will he lose in the finals like in Hero? I guess we'll have to see how well his teammates play.
I'm just looking forward to beating Neji on stream again.
Ah, nice.
It's a time-honored tradition at this point.
One other thing to point out here, I know that there was a lot of talk about Myanodon's first match of the season with the Death Knight being at a big disadvantage, yada, yada, yada. The Death Knight player won. Andy Rogers got the win. Look at
Oh,
that.
it wasn't enough to get the win, but it was noted at that point. But it did kind of caught, like there was quite a large delay to that match getting started because it was the first match to be played of the entire season in any series.
Mm.
Because I think it was played on like Monday or Tuesday, something like that. So there were kind of they had to pause getting started while they inquired about this because it just hadn't been thought of up until that point. So the question was like, can I cover it up in the screenshot? Obviously, questions about editing the screenshots probably not something you want to allow.
Right.
So I don't really know how the best way to address the DK rune thing in closed format is. It might just be that you don't want to bring DK in closed format. I mean, the way it's shaping up, it's not very good, so you probably don't want to anyway, but you know.
Certainly, we just take a page out of Dankest Dad's book and bring Triple Blood and just go all aggro. It's always the misdirect.
See, green aggro. Ron knows.
All right. So I'm going to move us to Silver Conference. So we ended time tonight. And to talk about Silver, we have Super Chicken. Chicken, what happened with your team in Silver?
We had another very close week with one of my teams. Once again, I have. Oh no, I remember who played first because it was a very memorable match. Turtle played against Epic Mingo first and lost 3-1. And it was very memorable because he was playing against a Miracle Priest and played Reconnaissance. And then instead of Gigafin, he picked Mounted Raptor. So
that's a turtle moment right there.
I have
Clever
replaced
kid.
Izod, one of the best 2 seeds in THL, with Turtle, one of the 2 seeds. So
one of the 2 seediest 2 seeds.
So true. Yeah. So it's why we do a little replay review early in the season. Surely Turtle will improve on this. Luckily, the good teammates on my team were able to clutch up and get some wins. I was up 2-0 against Lemur, and then only had to win with Ramp Druid, and then got reverse swept on Ramp Druid. So that was a little bit unfortunate. And yeah, it ended up being it ended up being tied at 11 points. So it came down to Gamer Dude having to clutch up and win the week for us, which he was able to do in a pretty insane 5-game series. I believe he also reverse swept. So yeah, it was just crazy back and forth. Multiple reverse sweeps. Pretty wild stuff. And then especially in the last match, like both players like making some pretty egregious misplays. Game 5, there was perhaps a 17 attack weapon swing that was missed to the rope. Is that why Gamer Dude won? We'll never know. But if you watch the replay, you would know.
Oh wow. I mean, he probably didn't need the 17. It's fine.
Nah.
Save it for next week.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like there were like nothing else in the game mattered except for missing the weapon swing. And it just decided the game and the series and the week.
That is unfortunate.
Wow. So I'm gonna ask. Let's see who hasn't talked in a while. Dankest Dad. Anything you want to share about this one?
Well, I can say tough loss for the Stubs. That's where I started out in THL, and even with new faces on the team, it's Mini and Kura Finway not there anymore either. Along with me, Oz has had the full rebuild. I don't think any player on the Stubs besides Osmanot was there 2 seasons ago. So maybe this new Stubbs is the one. Could see him in playoffs this year.
The stubbiest of stubs.
Yes. Rebop's a believer.
Always a believer in the stubs. They're just ever present.
Yeah, they've been around for a really long time. Winners back in season 11. Also won in season 7. So here we are in season 23, and there is a new Stubs team reloaded. It'll be interesting to see if they can go the distance again.
I've been here long enough. I remember the team that the Stubs were an offshoot from.
I mean, I kind of counted the Texas Stubbies to be the season 7 one. I don't know if they were an offshoot from a different team before that.
I'm pretty sure they were an offshoot of Dirty Mike and the Boys.
Oh wow,
Way back.
way back in THL lore.
Any final thoughts about Silver anyone wants to share before we hop on to Black Conference?
I just got to say the mix of teams again looking much more competitive than Red started off. Not to say that Red's going to be that way the whole way through, but we have the bottom team in Silver is still at 10 points. So anytime you can get a double-digit week, even in a loss, I think it goes a long way towards keeping you in contention for trying to find a way into playoffs. So excited to see what Silver brings.
Yeah, and the lowest top number of points of any teams. Red had some really high 23 and 21. In Silver, you've just got 2 18s. So it's a lot more compact. A lot more room for the teams who have lost to claw their way back. Though it is week 1, as I keep telling myself.
Yes, although I do love to overreact to week 1s.
You do want to start off your season on a strong footing, but when balance changes happened, like the week before and the week after week 1, it kind of feels like it was a bit of an anomaly a lot of the time. Because like now we may have the meta that the whole season is going to be played in, maybe.
There's a good chance of that, or at the very least that we'll have a solid month of
At least 2 weeks.
Of this, at least 2 weeks.
we might get like 5 weeks continuous of this one. Who knows?
No shot. No way.
Well, I mean,
Blizzard Balance team hates THL confirmed.
They hate all tournament organizers. It's just a fact of life.
Shout out to Aleko. Thank you for balancing our game.
True.
Yes. Like, it is one of those things where they literally cannot win.
Yeah. It's too impossible to, but we mostly do appreciate the balance changes, even if it makes the schedule complicated sometimes.
Yeah. Most generally, I'm all for them. And they do make planning and trying to figure out what to do quite difficult. But it's much better than the days where nerfs took 6 months to happen. So
the seasons
I'm
without
for it.
nerf were crazy.
You didn't think Undertaker was fine?
Undertaker did nothing wrong.
So I will keep us moving so we end relatively on time. Take a look at Black Conference. We're going to move into Pro Series now. So to start us out with Black Conference, we have Ron Mexico. Ron, what happened this week in the Black Conference?
All right.
and in our match, which is ET Yogg-Saron versus Frog Champs.
So let's go over Black Conference and ET Yogg-Saron versus um, Frog Champs. We have a 15-12 victory for ET Yogg-Saron. Theme of the night pretty much is a lot of really close matchups throughout. This one, we had 2 5-game series as well and a few 3-1s. No sweeps here. So Gimme Lamp taking a victory in the 1 seed, 3-2 over Copa. We had Direst Bear taking a 3-1 over Hustle in the 2, and Swelly with a 3-1 over Nice Jewish Owl in the 3, which was enough to bring it home for ET Yogg-Saron to get the victory. Although some very important points being picked up in the 4 and the 5. Stinzy taking a 3-2 victory over Trito 2, and Jespine with a 3-1 victory over MPV in a sub moment. Very nice subbing for Frog Champs there with get that 3-1. But we saw a whole lot of Quest Demon Hunter here from Frog Champs. We saw a bit more of a mix from ET Yogg-Saron, and this time around the wider range of classes took it home. So good for them.
For sure.
Do you want me to run through the standings, or do you want to talk through any other comments on this match before the standings?
Let's go comments on this match first this time. And I want to ask Rebub if he has any comments here.
So I've spent the whole time Ron's talking, trying to find this match. Because I think my show notes has got screwed up. So I'm just getting it up just now. Yeah, there we go. So it's one comment is it's cool to see Direst Bear back. I don't know if he's played for quite some time in THL, like very old THL name. I missed the streamers reveal, so I had no idea they were back. So that's super cool. Getting a win is a huge plus. Very happy to see Gimme Lamp get a win. Bodes well for F2L White and Legacy. But I think neither of these, like both of these teams, I think had look pretty solid. I think they'll both be compete. They're both going to probably compete for like a last playoff shot. They might be competing against each other, I think, for the majority of the season. So ET getting the win could have some pretty huge bearings a bit further down the line.
Sure. Ron, why don't you tell us about what the standings for Black Conference look like?
Certainly. So as you can see on the screen here, our top 2 teams with their logos being represented are A Perfect 10 Murloc and Big W Esports. A Perfect 10 Murloc, love to see them up there with what I would say is arguably the best logo in Pro. I say arguably because Punished Ape is also a team that exists this season. If you haven't seen their logo, check it out. But to run down the teams, Perfect 10 Murloc with 21 points in their win this week. Big W right behind with 20. ET Yogg-Saron, Punished Ape are the other 2 that got their victories with 18 and 17 respectively. And then at the bottom part of the conference, the teams that could not get a victory this week, we have Frog Champs, who still picked up 12 in a loss. Brushy Tuna with 11 and a loss, Swagoy with 9, and at the rear is Sushi Rats with 7. Certainly a long season, but that gap there between the first place and the last place is pretty large. So Sushi Rats already got their work cut out for them, but anything can happen in the weeks to come.
So the big question is, Are Brushy Tuna washed?
Oh, of course. Oh, absolutely. Pocket Train is finished. You didn't hear?
Is it because you all decided to bring Thief Rogue?
Who was the noob who lost to Boar Druid?
That's just deeply hilarious. I mean, Heat Shock with the double ball lineup is objectively really funny.
It's just always correct when you're playing against Pocket Train. So, I mean, props to Heat Shock. One series goes differently, and it goes Brushy Tuna's way, but they got the better of us for this week. Hopefully, we can turn it around. But for now, we are on the outside looking in. That's for sure.
For sure. So let's move on to the Pink Conference because there's still another conference with a lot of stuff happening. And we are going to be talking about F12 versus Chicken is Down just in time to clown. And the perfect person here to talk about this match is Dankistad. So Dankistad, take it away.
All right, so let's walk through it here. With this first match, we have Agent PWE taking it 3-2 over Dabs, but after that, things get a little bit worse for Chicken is Down just in time to clown. Itachi take it 3-1 over Super Chicken. Marty B took it 3-2 over Neji Boston. Rebobson took it 3-1 over Base Dink, who was subbing in. And Diamond took it 3-1 over Always Just in Time. So all of the namesakes of the team were not doing it this week. Just a tough one. And of course, Quest Demon Hunter was either brought or banned, and the only person deviating was Diamond, who had that control lineup we featured a part of earlier. So I think that in pro here, the meta sort of matches a lot more of what we saw in the World Championships over the weekend. And yeah, it just bears out tight games, but F2L was on the winning side of most of them.
Yeah, the first match of the series played was Diamond versus Always Just in Time, and like it was like one of those ones where you're looking at their channel, just like, are you still playing? And yes, they were. It was a marathon. Like very impressive for Dyron to have got that one. Should have been a shoe-in for Player of the Week for beating Always Just in Time. And I want to give a shout out to Base Dink for being very, very nice and assuming that I was the first person to ban Death Knight in Pro because they're so used to Demon Hunter being the top option on the ban form. Even though Death Knight was not brought by Base Dink, and she said that that's what they assumed and honored it. So massive shout out there. Didn't need to do that. I was fully prepared to give them 4 decks to play. But overall, it was almost a surprising win to get this kind of margin over Chicken is Down just in time to clown. They are a very scary roster. Lamby series subbing out for Basic does not impact the quality of the team whatsoever. So getting an 18-9 win was huge for us and makes us feel pretty good about the rest of the season. Also, big thing to note, we've got Dabs in a 6-set meta, and he's never lost pro while playing in a 6-set meta. So we're going to win.
Well, you heard it here, folks. F2L has called their shot, and we will take a look at that in week 2 of playoffs to see if things have changed.
Yeah,
Well
no,
said.
like 6-set Dabs versus F2L. It's kind of like a unstoppable force meeting an immovable object.
Yeah.
Who will we lose in playoffs, or will Dab keep his streaks going?
It's a good way to counter the curse. It's like It's like
Which-
APM getting Justin on their team in Hero playoffs, to where they're like, well, APM always loses, but Justin always wins, and it worked out.
Yeah, no, the way to like what we've established is when you've got like one of the big franchises, you just don't win. We've been coasting off Viridian and Wild for too long.
Viridian doesn't even win Wild anymore.
Oh yeah,
True.
they're washed and now they've got new players.
All washed. Everyone's washed this season, it looks like, because this is the core of the team that won the title last season. We just saw in black that the pro runner-up, Rushy Tuna, lost their first week, so naturally the pro champion with some returning players only nets 9 points in a beatdown. Yeah, gonna be an interesting season.
Yeah, and looking at the standings, seems like this is paid off for F2L. They're at the top of the chart again with 21. Big Death Knight Energy next with 20. Zyrella's Disciples in third with 18. The Cheesemongers Unite in fourth with 17. The Opportunistic Pro Players in fifth with 14. Arthas Peter Menethil in sixth with 13. Chicken is down just in time to clown, seventh place with 9 points, and Zymox and Chill with 5. So a little more stratified in this series, but it seems like all of the teams in those top 4 positions are making a good run for it, with the pro players and Arthas Peter Menethil right behind. So Chicken, got to rally the troops. You guys got to get back in it.
Yeah, I mean, not a great start to this week for me either. But surely we'll pick it up at some point. I mean, to counter Rebob's stat, I have also never lost in a 6-set meta. So surely those two counteract each other, and then the F2L curse comes in and we beat them in semis.
Oh yeah, I mean it's probably going to happen. we don't win in playoffs. It's just unheard of. I just want to say, while we gave some praise to Activision printing money, I do think Arthas Peter Menethil might be the weakest APM name. I'm sorry,
What?
guys.
It might be.
Listen, they can't all be I don't know.
Wait.
I like the idea. I like the idea that they were doing the whole Death Knight theme there, but you can't beat Activision printing money. Name is
Yeah,
goated.
no. Yeah, see, they've undone themselves by having to think of these like 5-6 team names every season. Just do what I did. Never change a logo or a team name. Ever.
F2L stands for something. We just haven't found out what yet.
Forgot to lose. God.
Yeah.
But what does it stand for this season?
Well, I mean, in previous seasons, it stood for fish to lake, right?
I have no idea where that came from. I just really
I don't know.
liked
There's a
it.
team called Fish, and then it just sort of naturally came about.
Yeah, F2L just doesn't stand for anything. It's just F2L. It's because we can't be asked to make logos or team names or anything. You make one logo, you're done.
So
Just
forgot to
change some
logo.
colors.
You're telling me it's
Forgot to logo.
forgot to logo. Boom. F2L.
Forgot to logo is pretty good.
Yeah. Fill to logo. That's how we make all our logos.
Now, with all that said, I'm going to bring us back to our main screen because we still haven't had a commercial break. And I will remind everyone, corruption to the commercial is fair game starting today. So, Rebob, I want to ask you, can you read our commercial? Today is an easy one. It's a very easy one. Can you read our first commercial of the season?
Of course. Yo. Hey there, Twitch viewers. Have you subscribed to Team Hearth League yet? Then make today the day to be a league member yourself and subscribe to our channel. I don't know what happened with the writing there. This subscription enables the THL team to help cover the various costs of operating our website, as well as improve the quality of our streams and content to our viewers, whoever's messing with the text while I'm reading, please stop doing it.
Part of the fun.
Oh, this is part of it. Enjoy.
If you have AP Amazon Prime, Twitch Prime, you can subscribe to the channel for free. Subscribers will get a THL emoticon as well as the THL chat badge. So hit that thumbs up button and keep the notifications on to make sure you catch our team broadcasting live. We appreciate each and every one of you. Special note to our viewers, chill out. I don't understand what's happening. Chill and shout out to THL's other social points of interest. The website, teamhearthleague.com. Catch us on Twitter at THL_HS. Join us on Discord, Team Hearth League. The true Hearth legend himself, Saku, continues to post all our videos on our YouTube channel. Just search for Team Hearth League to see everything previously recorded. Right now, you're watching us on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Team Hearth League, or possibly you're catching up on our YouTube channel in the future. Ooh. And for all your THL fans out there, there are sometimes THL shows every single most days of the week. Though obviously festive period is going to screw with that royally. You can't go wrong tuning in at any time for some Hearthstone related content. Now back to the good part. Ciao. Whoever made that really difficult, screw you.
You are fortunate that you're reading this in week 2 and not, say, week 8 when it gets mega cursed.
Yeah, right now it's easy. It's pretty easy. It gets. Last time I think week 3 was already unreadable. I don't know. It was very quick.
It did happen quick, yes.
We'll see how fast it happens this time. But I want to thank Reebok for the beautiful read. And I want to open our checkout question of the night. It is time for our checkout question. So, changes happened. Did they improve Hearthstone? Do you enjoy playing the game right now? And what deck do you enjoy playing? Tell us a fun deck. And I'm going to start with Fun Master himself, Dankestad. Tell me, what do you enjoy playing right now?
So I think I hinted at it earlier in the show, but it's Blood Death Knights where I'm at. A little earlier in the week, I tanked some points playing big buff taunt druid, trying to get my taunt warrior, trying to get my 840 Icehoof protector to win me the game. It did not work much, but Blood Death Knight was a lot better than that. And yeah, I think the changes were definitely an improvement over the previous patch, and I am hoping that they're not afraid to make more changes as they get more confident in what will work. Seems like it's a step in the right direction, but I'm hoping they refine a little bit more in the next month or so.
Nice. Thank you, Sad, for being here tonight.
Happy to be here.
And I want to give a special thank you to Ron Mexico for being here tonight. For ending his stream early just to be here tonight. That was awesome, Ron. Thank you so much for joining us. Tell me, how are you enjoying Hearthstone right now?
Well, actually, first off, I usually would end my stream early, but because we started early tonight, I'm actually going to stream after this. So I'll be doing more Hearthstone, and I'm actually going to be jamming my favorite deck, probably, which is Shockspitter Hunter. I'm a big fan of the nerfs that they made. I feel like there were a lot of like really heavy power outliers and things that led to, you know, a way too limited field for world championships. Like we only had 6 out of 11 classes represented, which was kind of disappointing. So they made some changes. They opened up the field a little bit more. We're going to see some new decks, and one of them is certainly my top one at the moment. 30 cards, Shockspitter Hunter. Look out for it. It might just be me playing it, but it's good, I swear.
Ron playing Hunter? No.
Make sure to bring it to your legacy or hero match.
Yes.
I mean, that's a given. Like, you want to scout me? Here's a freebie. I'm probably bringing 30 card Shockspitter Hunter. Show me you can beat it.
You should tweet the list as well, just, you know, to show your utmost confidence.
Already did.
Good.
He's so far ahead.
Nice. So I want to ask Chicken here. Thank you so much for being here tonight, Chicken. Tell me, are you enjoying Hearthstone? What are you playing now?
Yeah, I've been having some fun since the patch. I think the deck I've been playing, or at least enjoying the most, has been Phylactery Warlock. Um, I think it is probably the most, like, the craziest version of Phylactery Warlock we've seen to date. Devourer of Souls like makes the combo so insanely flexible. It's just like it feels like a completely new deck. Like the creativity with like getting combos off different ways is actually insane. It like if you've played Mindlock before and enjoyed it, try this out because it feels very different. Well, like the core gameplay is still obviously similar, but like uh, there's so much more to think about in terms of getting the combo turn off. And I think the deck is really good. I mean, there are some like pretty insane high rolls like turn 6, turn 7 lethals. With relatively high amounts of damage as well. So it's pretty crazy. Give it a try.
Nice. Try out Phylactery Warlock. And last but not least, Rebob, thank you so much for waking up early for sleeping late for tonight. Tell me what are you playing right now? Anything fun?
Well, so I'm very happy that they've made Wild playable again. Disco Lock being rampant was abysmal in the format, so I just kind of didn't touch it. So I figured that now it's been fixed, I need to actually play some Wild games because getting swept by Otters last week because I hadn't played like any games in the format was not fun. So I've been playing Even Lock and Wild, with admittedly with 0 new cards because I hate fun. But it's really enjoyable. There's nothing like playing an Aetheron on turn 2. It just never gets old.
Yeah. With that said, I think this is time for thanking everyone for being here. I want to thank Super Chicken, Ree Bobson, thank his dad, and Run Mexico. Awesome having you as always. Hearthcenter will be back. We're not doing a show next week because it's a weird case, but we are coming back after New Year's, probably January 3rd. I'll be here. Chicken's probably going to be here. Ron's probably going to be here. If not, maybe some of our other hosts. But we hope to see you here next show. And just a reminder, if you want to play on stream, DM the Stream Matches channel. We are always looking for stream matches, so just say you want to play. We love to have you, independent of skill level. With that said, I want to thank everyone and wish you a great night. See you later.
Night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.